blasphemy. Thank you for and the person is a mirror of all the miracles of God. Our opening music is hymn number 189. Lift every voice and sing. Please stand. your truth. Listen when others speak theirs too. When you let go of fear, you will learn to love others, and you will let them love you. Amen.
Amen.
Good morning, church. I'd like to share, I'm going to share a couple of poems with you that I learned when I was in junior high school. For an old timer like me, that was 1955. Oh boy. And I'm going to share those two poems. They're by Paul Luntz Dunbar. One is entitled In the Morning, and the other is We Wear the Mask. But I have to say a little about my community that I grew up in, which is a place called Belvedere, Delaware, about 10 miles outside of Wilmington. We had about 8 or 9 streets, and we had about 800 people and a half a dozen outhouses back in that time. And so I want to share that. And I went into junior high school in 55, and Miss Nash was our teacher. She's the one who would read these to us during Negro History Week. And more than you need to know, in the 8th grade, Miss Nash became Miss Knotts, Mrs. Knotts, because she married the music teacher at our school. And the Knotts family, big family in Belvedere. In the Morning. It's a poem about a mother trying to get the boy up from bed. Liza, bless the Lord. Don't you know the day has come? If you don't get up from the bed, you scamp, there's going to be trouble in this camp. Thinks I'm going to let you sleep while I make your board and keep? Well, that's a pretty howdy do. Liza, hear me? Don't you? If I come across this floor, you won't have no time to snore. Daylight all shining in, and you asleep. Why, it's a sin. Ain't the candle light enough to go out without a snuff? But you go the whole morning through, sleeping through the daylight too. In the morning. We wear the mask. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts, we smile and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh, great God, our Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. Thank you.
Our next hymn is number 30, Over My Head.
You're gone somewhere. Amen. I ask you to prepare for the experience of prayer by going within, by making an inward journey to that altar within, that centering place. The place where you hold up your joys and your sorrows, your weaknesses and your strengths, where you refresh yourselves for life ahead. And linger there for just a few moments in the silence. O fount of refreshing water, fire of the Spirit, breath of life, earth beneath, an eternal longing for what we need to take flight, to soar with eagle wings above the things that would drag us into depression. We thank you for keeping us and holding us in ways that assure us of your love. We are grateful, so grateful for your kindness and trust. Inspire us to trust ourselves. Renew in us the right spirit that challenges us to hold fast to our dreams of a compassionate, just, loving community embodying your kingdom. Lead us to take valid inventory of what we have accomplished and what still needs stocking, so that we have strength of body, mind, and spirit to carry out what has been assigned to us to do and become, so that we may do what is right without cowering into doubt or weakened resolve. And forgive us our faltering Remind us always of resources already provided to sustain us in our lives with their stresses and strains, and in our work as well with its constant hurts and seeming failures. The resources are there, here, given freely, unaffected by inflation or moods of the stock market.
Who are the prophets? They are a royal people who penetrate mystery and see with the Spirit's eyes. In illuminating darkness, they speak out. They are a living, penetrating clarity. They are a blossom blooming only on the shoot that is rooted in the flood of light. Well, I want to first of all thank Bill Quist for his song, What a Wonderful World. It goes right along with Hildegard, I think, if we think of her greening, her Veritas. We'll hear more from Hildegard later. But here she's speaking to the prophets. She's asking, who are the prophets? She says they are royal people, much like later Meister Eckhart. Hildegard believed that we are all prophets, all royal people, charged with penetrating mystery and seeing with the Spirit's eyes. So, who are the prophets then? Hildegard continues by saying that prophets illuminate darkness by speaking out in penetrating clarity. Many people come to mind when I think about speaking out in penetrating clarity, but perhaps none so much as James Baldwin. In his book, The Fire Next Time, he has a section with a letter to his nephew, James. A true letter from the heart. This message also gets to the heart of the matter. He writes, people find it very difficult to act on what they know. To act is to be committed, and to be committed is to be in danger. In this case, the danger in the minds of most white Americans is the loss of their identity. Written in 1963. Baldwin's prophetic voice is unmistakable. Not only does he foresee the turmoil of the next century, he gives us a better idea of what it takes to be a prophet. It seems that he's saying that to be a prophet, we must act, and we must be committed. And he points out that this can be dangerous. We know that. He wants to make sure that his nephew hears this. Baldwin was, on so many levels, a prophet. He was a living, penetrating clarity. And I think Hildegard would agree. I thought about another prophet this morning when I was listening to the news. This prophet is W.E.B. Du Bois, who wrote in his credo in 1904, I believe that war is murder. I believe that armies and navies are, at bottom, the tinsel and braggadocio of oppression and wrong. And I believe that the wicked conquest of weaker and darker nations by nations whiter and stronger, but foreshadows the death of that strength. I want to believe this. I want to believe that we will study war no more. But Du Bois cautioned us to have patience. Patience with the weakness of the weak and the strength of the strong. He also believed that this peace would come, but it would be a tardy triumph of joy. Hildegard continues her description of the prophet. They are a blossom blooming only on the shoot that is rooted in the flood of light. The life of so many people are reflected in this description. They are blossoms blooming on the shoot that is rooted in the flood of light. It is, I think, this spark of light that fuels their journey. Hildegard herself was a prophet. She foresaw the need for a spirituality that included Mother Earth. She saw the need for humanity to heed our mother's cries. She foresaw our present situation in this prayer. Now, in the people that were meant to be green, there is no more life of any kind. There is only shriveled barrenness. The winds are burdened by the utterly awful stink of evil, selfish goings-on. Thunderstorms menace, the air belches out the filthy uncleanliness of the peoples. There pours forth an unnatural, a loathsome darkness that withers the green and wisens the fruit that was to serve as food for the people. Sometimes this layer of air is full of a fog that is the source of many destructive and barren creatures that destroy and damage the earth, rendering it incapable of sustaining humanity. This was written in the 12th century. This was important for Hildegard's time, and of course, even more so in our time. In our own time, an author and poet, and arguably a prophet as well, George Ella Lyon wrote a poem that also goes right to the heart of our behavior toward our mother. It goes like this. God signs to us we cannot read. She shouts, we take cover. She shrugs, and trains leave the tracks. Our schedules, we moan. Our loved ones. God is fed up. All the oceans she gave us, all the fields, all the acres of steep, seedful forests. And we did what? Invented the great chain of being and the chainsaw. Invented sin. God sees us now gorging ourselves and starving our neighbors, starving ourselves and storing our grain. And she says, I've had it. You cast your trash upon the waters. It's rolling in. You stuck your fine, fine finger into the mystery of life to find death. And you did. You learned how to end the world in nothing flat. Now you come crying to your mommy, send us a miracle. Prove that you exist. Look at your hand, I say. Listen to your sacred heart. Do you have to haul the tide in? Sweeten the berries on the vine? I set you down, a miracle among miracles. You want more. It's your turn. You show me. Well, this poem certainly puts the responsibility for our situation right where it belongs. Much like Baldwin's, Du Bois, and Hildegard's words, these lines speak out with penetrating clarity, illuminating the darkness of our behavior, of our hearts. I go back to Baldwin, and some of you might have seen the clip that I put in the written version of this message, at the end of which Baldwin speaks of love. He asks, have we not fallen in love? Do we not remember the love of our birth? The love that holds us together. Of course, the answer is that so many of us have forgotten, as Baldwin also points out. We have forgotten that we have all come from love. And it is our hope that it is to love that we return. It is a love that may even be, as Adam Lawrence Dyer pointed out, beyond God. He wrote, "What if every time you woke, your sigh was felt by every being on earth? Surely this is a love that reaches beyond, that holds one to another and every other to one. No matter the color or where we're from, this is now, this is we, this is love, this is God, and this is love beyond God." Another prophet. The color doesn't matter, nor does it matter where we're from. We know that love can transcend this. This is the love that, in the words of the hymn, from our birth over and around us lays. It is the source of all, to which we raise a hymn of grateful praise. The beauty of the earth includes us as well. We are one, though we do not act that way. May we take this message to heart so that we can work together and with all the prophets to respond to the cry of our mother and so many of her children. It is our turn, time to show our Creator that we can also be prophets, that we can illuminate the darkness of our time in living, penetrating clarity. I have to go back to Du Bois and to his prayer. I'll leave you with this. He asks, "Can God pray?" Prayest thou, Lord, and to me? Thou needest me? Thou needest me? Thou needest me? Poor, wounded soul. Of this I never dreamed. I thought, courage, God, I come. Amen.
Good morning. Good morning. On behalf of the trustees, I'm here to welcome you to the beloved community of Fellowship Church. And as a way of introducing her, I want to share with you some things I've drawn from this community working through Black History Month and the challenges of social justice. In order to do this, understand the community, I use worship services and meditation that Mike Brown together, engage spirituality that deals with Jesus and Disinherited, our second Sunday community check-ins that are done via Zoom, personal conversations with members, and online communities that I've been helping to develop. And what's really important is one of the ways to end the struggle for social justice is to promote the narrative that it's here, it's over, we've won. But Harriet Tubman and everyone in this room and everyone online was alive in the same century. She's part of the continuity of this community, social justice. And this morning in this community, I had the pleasure of welcoming a friend of longstanding, Eleanor Pease. Meeting a friend new to me, but who is a friend of a member of longstanding, Clara Allen. And to hear a baby's voice, it is indeed a wonderful community and a wonderful world. Amen. And those online we've yet to meet in person, we welcome you. In this we would like to extend a welcome, and your welcome and offerings how to help prepare a place for those yet to find us, to seek to discover us. So this is your opportunity to contribute to that work, so please give with intention to approve. Heavenly Father, earthly Mother, spirits of all directions, in this time of turmoil, intentional harm, and personal danger, may we in community find balance between protective camouflage, the mask described by Paul Lawrence Dunbar, and the harmed identity caused by deception, as described by Paul Lawrence. and thereby grow into wholeness.
Good afternoon. Welcome and thank you for coming to worship with us today. I'd like to thank those who are worshiping with us via Zoom: Alice, Brenda, Eileen, Elaine, Gus, Libby, Reverend Liz, Randy, Rosemary and John, and Thomas. So we thank those who joined us via Zoom and those who are streaming that we don't have a list of names for. So thank you very much. Any visitors here who would like to introduce themselves this morning and let us know how you came about being here? I'll bring the mic down so people on Zoom can hear you because we're trying to include everybody. Here you go. Well,
This is my second time. I'm Claire. Claire's my little sister, whether she likes it or not. And I live in the city, the other hill over, and this is really a sweet service. I really liked it a lot. Jennifer Barclay. Thank you.
anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, no? Courtney mentioned during the offertory that Reverend Pease is here, right? Got it. And she's a member of the church, a former board member. Eleanor, would you like to stand and give us a few words of encouragement or something?
Well, you know, I came here for encouragement. I would not have made it this far without every single one of you. I'm an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister now living in the outskirts of Washington, D.C. in Falls Church, Virginia. I'm a half-time chaplain in a hospital and also a nursing home, which is grueling work that I certainly can preach about. Someone said the other day, but I thought you were more prophetic. And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm more prophetic than ever. And I'm sure you can, anyone who's done this kind of work knows. And I'm just back for a little less than a week to visit, and I'm so happy I was able to make it. And I'll be, loosely in touch as much as I can. And I want to welcome all of you to the Washington area. Whenever you need to come and plant your stake. I saw an amazing photograph in the National Museum of African American History in the room that celebrates Mary McLeod Bethune. And in this big photo of more than 100, maybe 200 or 300 African American women in 1940, and Sue Bailey Thurman is in the front row, about 5 people away from Mrs. Bethune. Her name isn't on there, but I saw her right away.
Thank you. You guys may have, when Eleanor said grueling work, I bent over and looked at Reverend Benton because I hear quite often from her. It is grueling work, working with the elderly. Anyone else? Any announcements from the body? Yes, Peter. I have a letter for you, by the way. Petition.
Yes. Just to remind everybody, my name is Peter. I'm a co-chairman of and along with Carol Verberg, of the committee to create a commemorative, Dr. Howard Thurman commemorative street sign. And some of you folks might not have had a chance to sign my petition. Is it back on? It is. Technology. So anyhow, I'll be downstairs at the coffee hour to get folks to sign the petition. We're close to presenting it to Supervisor Aaron Peskin, whose district where Dr. Howard Thurman's last San Francisco residence presides. So we'd like to get as many signatures as possible. It doesn't have to be any particular address. We're about to go forward with presenting it to Supervisor Aaron Peskin, and please sign it if you haven't yet already. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Yes.
I'd just like to add to that. I was doing a reading at Clarion with Clara Sue yesterday, and a couple of people came up to me and said, Peter, I know Peter from, and he's working on making a memorial to Howard Thurman there on Stockton and, the street there. And I was just amazed that this word is getting out. And I also wanted to say, in respect to, I also have an extra room in my house. I live alone, so if someone comes and needs a place to stay so they can come to this church, and they're coming from Timbuktu or Washington, D.C. or wherever, just keep that in mind, okay?
For those of you on the internet, you heard it. So, so please come visit us. Two announcements that I have. One is that the city has approached us and wants to landmark this building. And on March 1st, there will be a meeting, both online and in person, to that effect. The Planning Department is going to be presenting the information, I think, to the Board of Supervisors on the 1st of March, and we'll have some testimony and some other stuff. But it's pretty much, from what I can tell, a foregone conclusion that it's going to happen. The Planning Department has done a lot of work. There's a 22-page document, a written history of the place, a 7 or 8 page summary, and an 8-page layout of all the different maps over time of this particular area of San Francisco, highlighting the church and all of that. So that's going to happen on the afternoon, I think about 2 o'clock, if I remember correctly. If you want to know more about it, just email me in newsletter@fellowshipsf.org. I can provide that to you. The second announcement is what we haven't done in a few years because of COVID, was to have our annual membership meeting, which happens the third Sunday in March. So this year, next month, 4 weeks from today, after service, we'll have our annual membership meeting to get back on track with communicating to the community what our intentions are and what we have accomplished and things like that. Hope you can attend and be there for that. It's going to be exciting, I think. Yes, Ari.
Are non-members invited?
Absolutely. Anybody who comes is invited. Yes, we do not tell you to go away. We appreciate everyone participating. And one of these days, Ari, we want you to become a member. You've been here long enough to become a member now. But anyway, that is the 19th. Yes, March 19th. Yes.
Planning Department is March 2nd.
March 1st, Wednesday, March 1st. And I'll get the information to you, Peter, since you asked. Here at Fellowship Church, our focus is to find the common ground where each of us can share in the richness of our differences and partake in the fruits of the Spirit. We could find that focus expressed in our commitment on the front of the bulletin, and would you read it along with me at this time? I affirm my need for a growing understanding of all peoples as children of God, and I seek after a vital experience of God as revealed in Jesus of Nazareth and other great religious spirits whose fellowship with God was the foundation of their fellowship with all people. I desire to share in the spiritual growth and ethical awareness of people of varied national, cultural, racial, and creedal heritage, united in a religious fellowship. I desire the strength of corporate worship through membership in the church for the fellowship of all peoples, with the imperative of the personal dedication to the working out of God's purpose here and in all places. Please join us downstairs for some refreshments and coffee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Brian Caston, for your leadership here as our chair of the Board of Trustees, and for your announcements, keeping us on track. I'd like to thank Dr. Dorsey Blake for his very deep prayer that gave me the strength to carry on today. Thank you. I'd like to thank Bill Quist for his wonderful music today. And it was clear that what a wonderful world was needed today. Thank you for bringing that for us. I'd like to thank everyone here, and maybe especially the baby. Some of you know that I have a couple babies at my house, grandbabies, and that's where a lot of the strength and love that we spoke of comes from. That kind of gets dissipated sometimes in that grueling work at the nursing homes with the other population, the older population. So thank you so much. A huge gift that you brought us today. And thank everyone for being here. Our closing hymn, could sing, just a second, we're going to sing, is Now Let Us Sing. Hymn number 368. Now let us sing. Please stand.
Now is the time to renew the barren soil of nature